it looks like from Trump's photo op at the border today, he's about to declare a national emergency. Pentagon preparing options to build border wall as Trump weighs emergency declaration. The Pentagon is preparing options to build barriers on the southern border in the event that President Donald Trump declares a national emergency there. The latest indication such a move is gaining traction within the administration. Quote, the Department of Defense is reviewing available authorities and funding mechanisms to identify options to enable border barrier construction, said Navy Captain Bill Speaks, a Pentagon spokesperson said. Quote, as there has not been such a declaration made, it would be inappropriate to comment further. The confirmation of the preparations comes after Trump on Thursday gave his most explicit warning yet that he was considering a declaration of a national emergency as a way freeing up funds for a border wall if talks with Democrats fail to yield a deal on his signature issue. Trump's declaration of an emergency at the southern border would allow the Army Corps of Engineers to design barriers and let contracts to build them. Lieutenant General Todd Semonite, who commands the Corps, accompanied Trump Thursday on his trip to tour the border in Texas, blah, 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 blah. So there's so many things. There's so many things I want to point out with this. Obviously, I'm not for a wall. I think it's really more about the culture wars and about stirring up the anti-immigrant base that President Trump and then candidate Trump was so expert in rousing up. I haven't heard a pin drop. I haven't heard one pin drop from anyone on CNN, anyone on MSNBC, anyone anywhere, the New York Times, the Washington Post, saying, how are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this? You're just going to print the money? How are you going to pay for this border wall, for this national emergency? If you could just declare a national emergency and, raid the piggyback of other agencies, why is it that we can't do that for Medicare for all? There's 30 million by my count, 30 million people uninsured, tens of millions underinsured. If we can just declare an emergency, raid the piggyback for a wall that we don't need, that's racist, why is it that we can't figure it out? Why is it that we can't declare a national emergency when millions and millions of people are dying because they don't have health care? Millions of people are basically basically choosing to live sick rather than to go to an emergency room. But I hear Jake Tapper and Chris Cuomo asking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, well, how are you going to pay for this new Green Deal? How are you going to pay for Medicare for all, Bernie? How are you going to pay for free public college? When they give the answer, because they always have an answer, oh, well, that's kind of extreme. Ooh, but that's not going to sell. Ooh, but that's an expensive price tag. Oh, $715 billion for the military? Go have at it. Enjoy it. Oh, you're just going to, raid the piggyback of the Defense Department or the Army Corps of Engineers or whomever? Okay. Their question isn't going to be, the media's question isn't going to be, how are you going to pay for it? It's going to be, who won? Who won? Because it's all a horse race. It's all theatrics for these people. Who won? I'll tell you who won. Nobody. Because it's a bullshit, theatrical showdown going on right now with real harmful implications for people, for working people. You have mothers on television talking about, do I pay for groceries or pay my electric bill? What do I do? Do I pay my electric bill? Do I pay my heating in the winter or groceries for my kids? But it's so interesting that the question now, how is Trump going to pay for this? I thought Mexico was going to pay for it, first of all. But how are you going to pay for it if you're declaring a national emergency? Is the Pentagon budget just bottomless? You're going to just invent more money? Because the people who voted for that Pentagon budget, I don't think they voted on it thinking it was going to the wall. And by the way, if anybody thinks that this wall is going to just be $5.7 billion, no. It's not going to just be $5.7 billion. Actual engineers and construction workers have said it could be in the tens tens. It could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars for this stupid, stupid wall. So I don't want to hear from Jake Tapper anymore. I don't want to hear from Chris Cuomo, the New York Times, all of these out of touch, arrogant, bourgeoisie journalists. How are you going to pay for it? No. Why don't you ask, how is Trump going to pay for this? How's Trump going to pay for this? First it's Mexico. Next it's going to be Switzerland that pays for it. Wesley, as I just said, that's what Trump says it's going to be. But declaring a national emergency, trust me, when the ink is dry, it's going to be a lot more than $5.5 billion.